We are friends with and loosely affiliated with several other YouTube channels who are homesteaders, and one of the things that they do is they have bees. They're beekeepers. Well, we also have bees, but we're not going to keep them. Would you like to see our beehive? Let me show you. Right there. Tiny House Prepper. Hi everybody, I'm Bill from Tiny House Prepper, and we definitely have a problem right there with that bee's nest. You see where our truck is parked and our doors to our house, and there's the bee's nest right there. We're going to have to eliminate it somehow. Now I know many of you who know bees. I don't know bees, but many of you who know bees will tell me, well, those aren't bees, those are whatever. Well, I don't know the difference between bees and hornets and wasps and yellow jackets and whatever else. All I know is that they are flying, buzzing, stinging thingies, and we got to get rid of them. So I went out to the hardware store and I got a can of flying, buzzy thingies, stingy thingy killer. And it says here that you spray the nest, and it says that it will continue to kill the bees that come back to the nest for several days. So I thought, well, the nest is down inside, but how am I going to get to it? So I just sprayed the opening and I completely filled it with this stuff, and I thought, well, maybe the fumes in here will get down in there, and then as the bees come in and out, it'll get on them and kill them. Well, I've used half the can. I've sprayed it 7 or 8 times, completely filling the hole until it would go down in there. And as you can see, it hasn't made any difference at all. And I am just particularly hyper freaked out by this. When I was a kid, I was a teenager, my dad bought 104 acres of woodlands and made it and developed it into, building lots. He subdivided it into 1 acre lots, and he bought a backhoe and he bought a D6 Caterpillar bulldozer, and he and I spent several years actually while I was in high school building all the roads together down through the woods. And there was one place where we had had it marked out, where the road was going to go, and I made the first pass down through the woods to make a path that we could get the backhoe and some other things in there. So I was on the bulldozer going down through the woods, and all of a sudden I was in the middle of a huge swarm of, it seemed like thousands of bees all around me. I didn't know where they came from, and I was sitting up there on that bulldozer, and here they were all around me, and I panicked. And I just leapt from the bulldozer and I ran off through the woods as fast as I could, and they were all following me, and I ran forever, it seemed like, and I finally outran them. So then I went back and I looked at the bulldozer, and I had gotten in such a panic that I hadn't even hit the handle that was the clutch for the thing. So I just fled, I just jumped off of it, and there goes the bulldozer driving down through the woods all by itself, knocking out trees as it was going, So what do you do with a bulldozer that's running by itself down through the trees? How do you get back onto it? Normally, when you get onto a bulldozer, you jump up onto the top of the treads and climb into the seat. Of course, the treads are moving. So it was quite a scary situation, quite an ordeal, and I had to go and try to figure out how to climb up onto the back and climb over the back of the seat while it was driving down through the woods to turn it off. And I finally got that done. And I thought, well, how stupid for me to just jump off of there and leave the thing running. And then I realized, well, if I had hit the clutch handle, because it's you drive it like this and you push a handle forward to engage the clutch. If I had pulled that back to disengage the clutch so it wouldn't be driving, then it would have been sitting there right on top of that nest. It was a nest just like this. It was down under the ground, and I ran over it with the bulldozer. And ever since then, I've just got the heebie-jeebies every time I find a nest like this. So I guess I could call it an exterminator, but I'm gonna try first. I'm somehow gonna have to dig that nest up so that I can spray it, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. Flying, buzzing, stinging thingies. Ugh. Now, I don't know anything about the anatomy of an underground bee's nest. Anatomy, is that the right word? The layout, the structure of an underground bee's nest. I don't know if it's just under the surface or if it's 6 feet deep. I have no idea. But somehow I'm going to have to dig it up. I've got this digging bar. It's a metal bar to use if you're digging post holes by hand, and it's real tough. You can use this to help. You can see it's about 5.5 feet tall. So I'm going to have to try to use this to dig that thing up. Maybe I can do it like from around the side, on the other side of the bush where they can't really tell where it's coming from or something. I don't know. I'll be honest, this makes me really nervous. This was the first really cold night of the season. It's the first week in September. It was 38 degrees when I got up this morning, and right now it's only about 50, even though it's mid-morning. So I figured in the cold, the bees would be settled down and most of them would be inside the nest, but that's not so. As you can see, this is a very active nest. All right, if you don't hear from me in an hour, come and get me. Okay, I only had to run once. Here we go. Yeah, so I had to run twice. The first time wasn't too bad, but the second time they discovered me and they chased me all the way around the back side of the shed. I finally got away from them and I could hear buzzing all around me. I took my jacket off and there were several of them on the back of my jacket that had stung my jacket, and I guess they were dead. Their stingers were stuck in the jacket, so I'm glad I was wearing this. I had no idea if I got it or not. You can see that they're very angry. I dug down as far as I could with all of those bees around. Hopefully, if I didn't get all the nest, hopefully at least I got an awful lot of the bees. So we'll just have to let it sit now and see how it works. See if I got it or not. I'll check later this afternoon and see what it's looking like. I sure hope this is it. There's still an awful lot of live bees buzzing around, but hopefully if I got the nest, then the bees won't have anywhere to go. We'll see what happens. Oh, and I used the entire rest of the can of the flying, buzzing, stinging thingy killer can. So if there's still more in there, I'm gonna have to go buy another can and dig a little deeper. So here it is 3 days later, and apparently I didn't do a thing to eliminate this nest last time. I didn't think I did because I never actually saw the nest as I was digging. I gotta dig until I see the nest, and just spraying on the surface isn't going to do anything. Now I just used this rake right here to rake the leaves back from the entrance so I can figure out where they're going in. So they're really angry right now because I just did the raking. So I'm going to let them settle down a bit, and then I'm going to have to try to dig again. This is really nerve-wracking. So I scraped away all of the leaves, and now I can see where they're coming out. They're still definitely there. And that entrance now is basically right at the base of this bush. This is going to be tough. It's like, am I going to have to pull the roots out of the bush to get them out of there? I'll give it another try, but it's not looking good. All right, here we go again. I gotta dig actually until I see the nest. They're mad as hornets, but I still don't see the nest. I still don't see the nest. I got to keep digging, but I can't get close enough to do that right now. So I'm going to have to give them at least another hour to settle down again. I think that's a pretty big nest. This is from standing on the porch of our house. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to try a different digging implement instead of that digging bar. I can't dig anything up, so I'm actually going to try a long-handled shovel. I have a feeling that this nest is much deeper than I can dig just with a shovel when I'm trying to stay away from it. So I'm probably going to end up having to hire an exterminator. I've been fighting these bees for about a week and they chase me away on a regular basis. So I had this video all done, all edited, uploaded, ready to go, scheduled to be released. But now I have to do an update. So I had to take the video down to put this little update on the end of it, and then I got to start all over again with uploading. Anyway, I worked on this bee's nest for about a week, and finally a couple days ago I just gave up. As you see, I'm going to have to hire a exterminator to come in here. Well, that was over the weekend. On Monday morning I went out to go to work, and once again it was like 37, 38 degrees. The first day when I said it was cold, it was like that overnight, but by the time I got to work on the thing, it was mid-morning and it was 50 degrees and bees were buzzing all around. So I went out there at 6 o'clock in the morning on the way to work, and it was 38 degrees, and I looked over there and there wasn't anything buzzing around. So I thought, I'm going to try this again. So I grabbed the shovel, which was still laying there, and I dug over about 6 inches from where I had been digging before, and there it was. Beautiful. Brought up a great big bee's nest that was down underneath, and when I did, the bees were scrambling all over the place, but they looked like ants. They were just all around on the ground. None of them were flying. I guess it was too cold. So I was able to completely dig the thing up without them flying up in my face. That was a problem. Every time I got close enough, they were flying up in my face. So I was able to completely dig it up. I had just a little bit of that spray left, and I sprayed the nest. I didn't know if it was going to be enough spray, but at least I know where the nest is, and I dug it up and exposed it. So I got home this evening and went over and looked at it. There's nothing moving anywhere. No bees, nothing. It's kind of starting to get dark. I can't really see, but I think I got it. And if I didn't, I know exactly where it is now and I know how to finish the rest of it. So I am very excited because that nest is gone.